Welcome to Texas Real Estate Research Today. I'm Brian Pope, Managing Editor of TG Magazine here at the Texas Real Estate Research Center. The COVID-19 pandemic created a dismal outlook for the state's apartment market. Did those expectations materialize? How is the market currently doing? For answers to these and other questions, we turn to research economists Dr. Luis Torres and Dr. Harold Hunt. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we get into the eviction moratorium, talk about how the apartment market has changed since the onset of the pandemic. Luis?
So during the onset of the pandemic, the outlook for the apartment market was grim due to the fact that the majority of renters were severely affected by the pandemics. There were households that worked in industries like leisure hospitality, and they lost their employment and lost their source of income. And that caused the vacancy rates to increase and rents to decrease. And also created a lot of uncertainty was going to happen going forward, because at that moment we didn't know about the vaccines.
Would you say the market is in good shape, all things considered?
Yeah, I think the market has improved a lot. Starting in the first quarter of this year, things really picked up. We're seeing really good rent growth, and in some metros like Austin, for example, it's very strong. You're looking at about a 17% increase in rent growth in Austin in the last 12 months. The only market that's lagging a bit is Midland, Odessa. That's because of the oil downturn last year, but it's coming back just a bit slower than the rest. Occupancies are picking up and absorption is better, so yes, overall market looks much better.
We recently published our second quarter 2021 apartment market report. Luis, in it, you talk about a major turnaround in the market this year. Tell us a little bit about that and describe the factors that contributed to it.
So the factors that contributed to it were, number one, the government transfers. Those government transfers served as an income bridge for those people's households that lost their jobs and lost their source of income. A second was the vaccines that allowed the economy to reopen. Third would be the lack of inventory of homes for sale, especially in the price range below $300,000, and that caused a high home price appreciation. And also, we also seen an increase in single-family rents. And last would be the strong economic growth we've seen. And all these factors have contributed for a major turnaround in the apartment market.
The Supreme Court ended the eviction moratorium weeks before it was set to expire. In what ways do you see this impacting multifamily markets in Texas?
Well, I think obviously you're going to see a lot more landlords file for evictions, but we were really lucky in Texas. Over 95% of the tenants have been able to pay their rent, so we're in much better shape than a lot of states. So there are going to be evictions, but I think they'll be mainly confined to the Class C and D properties. In those you have tenants that are in the service industries, hotels, restaurants that were hit really hard during the pandemic, and they're coming back, but they're just not back yet. So,
what is the outlook for the apartment market for the remainder of 2021 and into next year?
So it's a positive outlook for the apartment market going forward. One major factor is the economic growth, and also the second factor would be demographics. The young population, the movement of people from other states to our state. Another factor would be the lack of homes available for sale, especially with a price range below $300,000, causing strong price appreciation, and that would affect some households. That would price out some households from the housing market. And again, the strong economic growth we're seeing in 2021, it would continue in 2022.
That's it for this edition of Texas Real Estate Research Today. Harold and Luis, thank you for sharing your insights.
thank you.
Thank you.
For more on this, download our 2021 Mid-Year Texas Apartment and Economic Outlook. You'll find it on our website. Until next time, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Bye, everyone.